And all I have to do is dream. Dream, dream, dream. Are we live? Oh, well, the email says I am. Hey! I'm here. Don't worry, guys. Sorry, I'm a little late. It happens. Yes, I was posting another video. What's going on, guys? Cheers. It is Friday. You know what that means? That means we're drinking. I got the vodka going on. Welcome to the Vodka stream. Cool. Hey, Dave, you're so much cooler than him. Shut up, Hoskins. What's going on, Eric? What's going on, Mr. Shadows? Stallone. Men in Tights. All you guys. You guys are right there. Claytalian. Yeah, no Joker spoilers. Don't worry. I know my title of this is kind of lame. Joker, Toker. I'm a Joker. I'm a Toker. I'm a Midnight. Come on, Steve Miller Band. That's what I was going for. I was like, how do I incorporate the Joker name into the vodka stream tonight? Well, that's how I did it. Salute. Or salute. I don't know what you meant. What's going on, Yazith? It's already Saturday for you. Yep. It is 9:38, and I'm watching the Dodgers and Nationals play. And the Dodgers are, they're not doing it. They're not doing it right now mainly because Kershaw is not a playoff pitcher. Jesus, that guy just shits the bed when it comes to playoffs. Logan or Joker? Well, I'm going to wait on that one because I'm going to see Joker again tomorrow. So I can't really determine that. You know, I love Logan so much, but when it comes to Joker, it's like it's just a different beast because it's, just a lot of things. Hey, Dave, I recently watched your Genesis review, and your opinion changed dramatically. Yeah, it did. I think I liked it a little more when I first saw it because I liked the aspect of how it went through the older movies, but it's just the rewatch value of that movie is just it's not good. It's not good. Just watch Joker, you're drained. Yeah, I could see that. Why did you look like a young Zack Snyder? When did I look like a young Zack Snyder? I mean, thank you. Appreciate it. Nothing wrong with that, right? The LA Dodgers will never be the team they were when they called Brooklyn their home. I mean, that was a long time ago. You're right. Dave also gave a positive. No, I didn't. Did I really? I don't remember doing that. Did I? I probably did. Opinions change, guys. Opinions do change. I don't even remember what I gave Thor Ragnarok. I thought I didn't. I thought I gave it some positivity, but that movie, I don't know. So who knows? I'd watch Black Label or DC Black Lex Luthor. Yeah, that'd be interesting if they did that. I'm a fatty, not Zack Snyder. Is that what it is? I'm a fatty. Thank you. Appreciate that. What's my score of Joker? I'd give it a 9.7. Pretty much. Yeah, 9.7. Couple little 0.1 points for just little things. But overall, yeah. I used to like Age of Ultron and Mummy 2017, but not anymore. Yeah, it's something. Hey, there she is. Amanda's here, guys. Now you can ignore me. There's something about that. You know what? It's funny because anytime, especially when it comes to these big franchise movies, I always want to have a good time. Anytime it's a Marvel movie, it's any of these big franchise movies, Star Wars, I want so badly to have a good time. And I think that can sometimes, look at my review for Justice League. I gave it a positive review. I totally gave it a positive review. Justice League. But it's just like, yeah, it's just I hate the fact that that happens where it's just like when the buzz is gone and then you start really watching it, you rewatch it. Same thing happened to Solo. I gave that a positive review, and then when I try to rewatch it, I'm like, geez, man, you just start picking it apart. Yeah, I know, right, Hoskins? Yeah, tell her that. You know, we come to see us. You come to see me, not her. You don't want to talk to her, right? That box set is coming. Box set? Which box set? Say my name. You always like me to say your name. Crispy Motion. I almost have to say it with a lisp. Dave, you think Ballcap is still working on Green Lantern cores, or have they? I don't know. They might have taken that away from him. Who knows? It's interesting. I don't know what's going on with that. I really don't. I have no clue what's going on with all that. I haven't heard anything. We'll see what happens. We feel you, Dave. I like Justice League. Yeah, see? Uh-oh, somebody's with the cupcakes. All right, Josh. You're fucking up the thing here. No, it's just what? Somebody call me an MCU fanboy? You can call me an MCU fanboy. It's fine. Oh, you're calling somebody else that. Good. And now now you're gonna put the clown. That's fine. Stop doing that, guys. Come on, so I can see. Hey, Dave, send in the clowns. Whoa, that's loud. As Chris Pine said, "Relax, cupcake." When did he say that? What movie was that? When did he say that? I don't remember which movie. I don't think that was Wonder Woman. Was that Star Trek? Was that Hell or High Water? Was that Smoking Aces? Remember, Chris Pine was in Smoking Aces. That was before anybody even knew. That was before anyone even knew. You're equipped? I don't know, man. I might have other guests on. Sorry, Eric. Hold on a sec. Let's see here. Well, I was supposed to have a certain someone on, but it's not happening, sadly. There we go. All right. Just give me a second here. Okay. Sorry. Smoking Aces 2 is better because it's got TV rigs. TV rigs. Oh, is he in there? I didn't even see Smoking Aces 2. I'll be honest. I love the first Smoking Aces, but I don't talk to Film Gob anymore? Yeah, well, we don't. I don't know. Ever since like everything went down with the whole Snyder Cut thing, because I know he was friends with a lot of those guys. I don't know if that had something to do with it. I have nothing against the guy. You know, he's welcome on here anytime. But I know if there's all that stuff with all those guys, and I know he was friends with some of them. Even though he was very quiet when it came to the Snyder Cut stuff, the back and forth. Just watch Kingsman films. Yeah, Kingsman films are good. I mean, the second one, yeah, it has its problems, but yeah, there's the Smoking Aces too. It was direct to video. So, you know, there didn't need to be a Smoking Aces 2. What's my favorite DC films? Well, Dark Knight's going to always be the favorite. Yeah. What song is that, Stallone? We Don't Talk Anymore. God, I can't. I'm trying to find the rhythm of that. I don't know which one that is. Film Gob seems to lean a bit more towards the radical side of Phantom. Yeah, he anything that's against Disney, he is all about it. I mean, he was given some more content today by Martin Scorsese, which I just did my video about it. I just talked about it. Yeah, he's anything that's against Disney, he's all about it. I mean, he was on here and he even said on here when he came on here last time that he never was a fan. He never grew up with those films. He never was a fan of any of that shit. So, yeah, I mean, I could see that. I was not a fan of the Disney animated films when I was growing up. We had them all in our little collection with those big, how they had the big plastic cases that opened up like a book. I had all the fucking Disney movies, but I never watched them. I was never. That's why with the remakes, the adaptations of it, wrapping flesh around these animated flicks, I'm like, I'll watch them, but I'm not sentimental about them. Kingsman 1 is one of my favorite CBMs. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I feel you, Stallone fan. Golden Circle, I don't know. I think the marketing kind of fucked it up because they revealed that What's His Nuts came back, and it's just I don't know. There's a lot of things with that. If they made DC Black Deathstroke, it still should be. Yeah, that'd be cool if it was still Meg Yellow. It would be pretty cool. And now, okay. All right. Let's see. I don't think I dropped a little invite. Let's see here. Hold on a sec. See if you can, man. Got something to promote. Anybody? Okay. Anyways, cheers, Rowdy. Did the Waynes really take Bruce to the? No spoilers. I'm not talking about any spoilers with Joker. Okay, not gonna mention it. That's not my style anymore. I used to be like that. I was all about spoilers at one point. Not anymore. I'm like, no, we can't do the spoilers thing anymore. Why do that? If did you hear Travis Scott's new song? No. I'm not really a fan. I haven't seen the new Titans episode. Shit. I'm gonna have to wake up tomorrow. Yeah, wake up tomorrow and watch that. It's a Saturday thing. So we'll see what happens. Jason motherfucking Todd. They're finally going back to that. Yeah, because the last episode was a flashback episode, which was really good. Oh yeah, Amanda was there. Yeah, Amanda was sitting right next to me during Joker. Well, if you actually watch my review, when I talk about the friend that literally did a mouth cover, that's the friend. That's the friend I was referring to right there. Is Amanda. She, at one point, covered her mouth. There he is. What's going on, Mr. Hardboiled?
How you doing?
Hey. You doing your best, De Niro impression right there? What's going on?
I'm pretty sure How You Doing was Al Pacino, but
yeah.
Well,
sorry. My bad.
Ha!
It's the vodka.
Ha! Ha! Robert De Niro, ha!
Nah, De Niro's more of a, you have to do that little...
You talking to me?
Nah.
You talking to me?
You
talking to me?
Nah, pretty much.
What's going on? Who else is talking to you?
What's going on, Mr. Eric?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I'm doing pretty good considering, since water under the bridge it's been a month ago, so I'm doing pretty good right now. So I got something different today. Here's some plain speaking and clear understanding.
What is that? Oh, cheers, bud.
Yeah. Well, it's a whiskey glass, as you can
Nice.
see.
Yeah.
But, I would not be following the grand tradition of Batman if this were whiskey, although I may actually do that sometime. It's actually cream soda, but it looks the part.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that works. It's fine. As long as you're drinking something, that's all I require my guest to do is drink something. Even though sometimes they don't. But I take it you haven't seen Joker yet, huh?
No, not yet. Not yet. I mean, it tends to be, I tend to go to the movies with a friend of mine, and it really depends on his work schedule because he works night hours and I work day hours, so it depends on what days he's got off.
Gotcha. You don't like you never go by yourself or what?
Oh, on occasion I do, but it's like it's just a thing that he and I do because like he has the car, and otherwise I got a lift.
Gotcha.
So there you go.
That's funny. Yeah. I mean, some people are against going to the movies by themselves. I actually like it sometimes. I mean, it didn't happen last night. Last night I had 7 people with me. That was the most people I've ever had join me on a Thursday night outing. But I mean, that just shows you that this movie is pretty special. Oh, look, we're gonna make this a threesome here.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
This guy, Steven.
What's up?
All right. To the surprise of absolutely no one, it is Steven Goldberg.
What are you talking about? He makes a rare appearance on this. What are you talking about, Eric?
Yeah.
Occasional.
Yeah, occasional.
Rare, or I like to think of your appearances as well done.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
Ketchup.
Yeah, with ketchup. With ketchup.
Yeah.
But no. I mean, when I always talk to people about like, I can't go to the movies by myself. I'm like, why not? Do it. Try it out.
I have learned to hate going to the movies with other people. I prefer it by myself now.
Sometimes it can be. I mean, last night I had 7 other friends, and I was like, wow. I mean, it was cool, but it's just kind of like when we like got up to our seats, it's like, all right, enjoy, everybody. Yeah. Cool. You know, I'm only gonna just talk to the person next to me. Yeah.
Well, I will say, like, I kind of like it when if my friend's going with me, my friend of mine are like pretty much the only ones there. Although it can be a bummer if it's the opening weekend and we're watching the film and it's a good film, but we're the only ones there. It's like, what the heck? That sucks.
Yeah.
But still, you know, it's kind of nice when you're almost the only ones there, and it does, in a way, free you up a bit to maybe fudge the rules a bit and talk with each other about what's going on screen. Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
I actually, it was.
Although I'm always telling people to shush in my own living room. So.
Oh, I know. Right?
So am I. Well, so do I.
Yeah.
Well, so do I. Because like, if the theater is full.
One of my biggest pet peeves is actually when like people like start asking questions, and I just go, wait, find out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I give them the notion of just watch. You will find that answer. Don't ask.
It's almost like they constructed the narrative in such a way that it reveals important information to you as it's necessary.
Isn't that weird how story structure is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Although of course my pet peeve, and it should be everyone's pet peeve, is the people who are checking their phones when the theater is playing. You paid $10 or however much money, or however. Oh,
there's a crying kid.
No, you can hear that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yes, we can. Yeah, we can.
I'll be right back.
But anyway, it's like you pay $10 or however much money to sit in a darkened room and check your Facebook or your Twitter.
Yeah.
Where you could do that for free anywhere else.
Yeah, no,
and instead you're shining this light in everybody's face when they're trying to see the movie.
Yeah.
Screw you.
It's very distracting. I mean, one of the things I do, and I mean, it's very meditative because I consider watching a movie a sanctuary. Like it's my sanctuary. I turn my phone on airplane mode. I turn it not completely off, but I turn off the signal so no interruptions. And then I stick it in my pocket and forget about it and just watch the fucking movie. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes. I mean, that's seriously what I wish more people would do that.
I mean, seriously, like theaters are wondering how to bring people back to the movie theaters. Maybe enforce the no phone policy. You keep saying you have a no phone policy, and enforce it, for crying out loud.
It's just silencing your phone. I mean, it's like a big thing with stand-up comedy. I know stand-up comedians are having a problem with it because there's people that literally are just like the whole time like this. They're just holding up their phone, recording the entire act that is usually not complete. And some stand-up comedians will just do the whole thing where like you have to put it in a bag and then it stays out of the club. But then I remember I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he said the only thing that could suck about that is sometimes people are so addicted to their phones that they're constantly getting up to go check them. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know.
I know, right?
Well, I mean, if you're in like this is by maybe a unique perspective for me, but if you're in a club and you get your phone taken away, there's probably a bunch of parents that are checking to make sure.
That's very true. That's also a thing too.
The house is on fire.
Yeah. That is a thing that sucks too, because you don't want people to record like your act, because that's what people end up doing. I mean, they've done it with I remember when Louis was trying to make his comeback, and all of a sudden, like, his entire act that he was doing, like, showed up on the internet. And it's like, and then people, of course, were like, oh, it's horrible. He was talking about shooting, stuff like that. I'm like, he was working out jokes, and he was being Louis. He's, who knows if that guy's ever going to be able to make a full-on comeback. But, it's just that, but that was the drawback. It's just something that Joe Rogan was talking about, like, when he did that, and then people were constantly getting up. It can be distracting to the performer. So it's like, which one do you choose? You pick that either people are holding up their phone, or do you have them check it at the door and then they're getting up to go check to make sure, like, oh, the babysitter is not, like, saying anything. That's the drawback.
Well, yeah.
What is your when it comes to you, Steven, you just silence your phone? Is that it?
Like at the theater?
Yeah, at the movies.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah.
I've got I'm a big fan of the OLED displays, and so with Android you get the passive notifications with that.
True.
And so like if there's something, like, I try not to. It's a crime to look at your phone during a movie, people.
Oh,
but
of course.
If there's something I need to pay attention to, like if we got sitters or whatever,
yeah,
then I can have the phone up and it'll just have like the faint, like just the white outline notification on the screen without.
I get that. Even Amanda's saying that too. When people who have kids, of course, you're going to keep it on. I mean, me myself, I don't have shit, so I just turn it on airplane mode when I'm in the movie theater. I'm just like completely disconnected. Yeah,
if I need to, I love Android's do not disturb mode.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, we could turn on that. Just a quick little tap of it.
Yeah.
Everything. But when it comes to Joker, Mr. Steven, you saw it. What did you think?
I was a big fan.
Yeah, no spoilers.
I was not expecting Harvey Dent. That scene kind of blew my mind.
I know, man. And then like
Penguin was rumored though, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. And then Junkee was fucking weird.
Yeah.
And they cast Kristen Stewart. They actually cast Kristen Stewart. How about that?
I've never really shipped Joker and Catwoman, but I guess it worked. Like, I don't know.
It did work. I mean, it was weird that they somehow put in Clayface. I mean, that was ambitious right there. Yeah. Fuck. No, but what'd you think of it?
I was a big fan.
Yeah.
It's always hard to talk about a movie like this that's so hyped, because like, how do you say it meets the hype when it's like hyped like through the roof? And then it's not nearly as controversial as people wanted it to be.
Not at all. The violence was not as
exactly, but it is edgy. And
disturbing,
really pushed some lines. It's almost identical. My biggest praise for it, honestly, is I read the scripts 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say never. There was a couple scenes where I'm like, ooh, I know what happens here. Yeah. But despite like knowing there was a couple minor differences, but despite knowing like every kind of twist and turn, I was like still in it, and things would happen. And there was 1 or 2 things where like I would like jump, or like I even put my hands up to my mouth at one point. I was like, this dude next to me thinks I'm like the worst. And I was like, why did I do that? I knew that happened.
Yeah.
Which I think is like the biggest like I don't really have the luxury of spoilers a lot of times, just because I'm kind of in the weeds and all that stuff as is, and I don't get to choose what I do and don't edit. And it's like my job to know a lot of that stuff. And so to me, and I've always kind of felt this way anyway, like if a spoiler ruins a movie, then it's a badly told story, because that's like a one-trick pony. Like if you're like something like Fight Club, like, oh, it's got this big twist, and if this twist is ruined, like you're telling me that like the second, third, fourth, fifth time you watch Fight Club, you're like, oh, this is boring. Nope. I already know what happens.
No, I before I even saw Fight Club for the first time, I already got it spoiled for me, but I still love, and to this day love, that movie.
Yeah, exactly.
The filmmaking, the storytelling, the performances are all still so top notch.
Yeah, and so Joker is very much that way for me.
Yeah, and like I actually went when I saw Batman v Superman. I actually only saw the Ultimate Edition. To this day, I've not seen the theatrical cut, even though I have it. I have no intention of doing so. But anyway, when I finally saw it, like I already knew about Martha, and I knew that Supes was going to die, and yet I still loved that movie. I loved the heck out of that movie, and I was driven to tears when Clark says goodbye to Lois and then flies off to his death.
Oh yeah,
and I knew it was going to happen.
Oh yeah. I still remember turning to my friend when that scene was coming. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna fucking do it. I didn't look at that spoiler. I mean, I knew about Doomsday stuff. That's about it, but I didn't really want to look into it further. Like as much as when spoilers were trying to come out, I was kind of delving deep into them, because I was covering that movie like crazy. But then there came to a point where I was like, no, I'm going to stop, because I want to be a little surprised. And I remember seeing the rumor, like, does Superman die? And I was like, they wouldn't do that. What's up, Edgy? Edgy Veggie?
Edgy.
Yeah. But when it comes to, I didn't look at any of the spoilers for Joker. I was like, I'm not going to do that. I mean, there was things in there, and I'm like I said, there's no spoilers here, but there was things in there that you see coming, and then there's but I mean the final act, Steven, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that last 30 minutes. I don't want to say like the beginning. Nothing was really clunky. There's a lot of things that were like that kind of dragged, but it was it was all felt character driven. Like everything kind of very much served. If it didn't serve the plot, it served the character development, and so there wasn't like a whole lot of fat on it. But that last 30 minutes was like, yes, it was like on the edge of my seat, and it's weird because it's not the third act of BVS or the fifth act or whatever, whichever theory you subscribe to in the structure.
Yeah.
But still, there's just this like gradient. I mean, it's very much like in I guess The Dark Knight's a bad example because that does have a lot of action in the last act, but there's that tension that Ledger creates with the Joker where you don't know what's gonna happen next. And he keeps on doing unpredictable things and just kind of ratcheting up the tension and it's great.
That's pretty much.
And on that,
go ahead.
And on that note, like it's not obviously like you gotta have the dark humor if you're going to do Joker. So how well does that come off?
Oh, there's one scene where it gets really dark, and then all of a sudden something humorous happens. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's almost like you start laughing. You know what I'm talking about, Steven.
There's a number of parts where I felt bad laughing.
Like,
the whole theater was kind of laughing, and everyone I think is kind of looking at each other like, okay, we're all agreeing to laugh at this. Okay, cool, let's go ahead and laugh.
But there's one in particular thing that happens, and it's
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like something happens, and then all of a sudden it's just something funny happens, and you're like, I should not be laughing, but this is like perfectly
too soon.
Yeah, something like
that is funny.
Time. And I just remember everybody's just kind of like. It's like you're almost reluctant to laugh, but you can't help it because of how perfectly timed it is. Yeah. So there's stuff like that, Eric, like especially one particular moment where you're like, oh my God, they just, I mean, it was kind of brilliant. It was pretty.
Well, and there's a lot of Arthur Fleck is such a pitiful character that there's a lot of stuff that like you kind of want to laugh at, or it's almost funny, but you don't really. You also don't want to laugh because it's like, is this funny or is this depressing? And it really plays with your emotions in that way where it's like, oh, this is too messed up to laugh at. It's like daring you to laugh at tragedy at like whatever, which is really fitting for a Joker movie.
Yeah. See, even Amanda says, oh yeah, I know. She knows the one. I mean, it's just like, it's just funny. Like, I remember my nephew was on the other side of Amanda, and he like bursted out laughing, and it was just like you don't want to, but it's just a funny moment.
Yeah,
dark
scene. That reminds me. Yeah, that reminds me of like in the Dark Knight, the pencil scene. I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. Ta-da! Now it's gone.
Like,
and it's like you burst out laughing.
I know. I mean,
burst out laughing. Then you realize, wait a minute.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are going to be comparing Phoenix to Ledger, and obviously when we first saw what he looked like, and even saw the first teaser trailer, a lot of people were like, is he just going to be kind of like Ledger? He's so not. That's what's so weird. It's like he's not, because I don't know. I can't even explain it without giving like away too much, but it's just.
Well, I think the way I described it that I thought I really appreciated about the movie is that there's so little opportunity to compare, because like Ledger was a supporting actor, and so
I remember you tweeting about it.
The plot didn't surround his character. He didn't really drive the plot. I mean, really, he could have been cut from that movie and it still would have made sense for the most part. Yeah. I think he's awesome and he adds a lot to it. But like, he's just kind of this agent of chaos that just makes the plot more complicated.
Exactly.
Take away Joker from Dark Knight and you basically have the Long Halloween with Harvey Dent's
arc. Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And obviously Joker is like the spark that that kind of creates Harvey Dent. But there are other ways that could have happened that don't require Joker. But that he's a supporting role in that, whereas this is all about Joker, and you get his backstory, and he's the primary character, and the portrayal is different enough that that there's no. It's even though like I know Leto and Ledger were significantly different as well, but they're something about the way that they existed in those movies like demanded a little bit more of a comparison.
Yeah.
Whereas like this, there's no, I don't think there's cause. I mean, the closest would be to compare to Nicholson, I think, because you get the origin story of both of them. And
what I said in my review, like the only time we've ever gotten like an origin story was his, but you only saw like who he was before he turned into Joker. With this one, you like got a sense of like who Arthur really was, where he came from. I mean, they delve deep into it.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the laugh, the way that and this is no spoiler. I mean, even Phoenix talked about how the laugh condition is a real thing that he had to like study on. I mean, and it's like it. Oh my God! I mean, you feel bad because he can't control it. That manic laugh where it's like it almost seems like it's painful because he's like, ugh.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of like Tourette's.
Yeah, it's like
very similar. But what's kind of great about that is he as he kind of feels empowered by like the Joker persona, he eventually just kind of accepts it, and instead of it being something that he fights, it's I don't think it's obviously he becomes Joker, so I don't think it's a spoiler to say that he embraces that.
Well, I said that in my review too. I'm like, he starts leaning into it,
exactly.
He starts embracing his mental illness as opposed to trying to suppress it down.
Yeah.
And we knew that was going to be the case. It's no spoiler there.
And so it's not so much, I wouldn't say that he like overcomes the laughter so much as it's no longer a hindrance, because he's just kind of, very much like we know the Joker is in the comics or other movies, how there's times that he'll have fits of laughter too. Except the difference is he's not trying to keep a straight face, or he's not like frustrated that it's a conflicting emotion.
Well, I remember
that scene when he was laughing and crying.
Oh God.
They do some stuff.
Yeah, they really go for it with that. I mean, I remember even somebody talking about how like when it comes to the Batman the Animated Series Joker, they were like referencing that, like how this movie kind of like does almost like a feel of that. And I was going, okay, how do they feel that besides just the what's Robert De Niro's character's late night show has the same fucking font, which was, everybody saw that, which was kind of cool. That was a cool little homage, I should say. But I remember like specifically in the Batman the Animated Series, like there's like that one episode where he had the fish that had the gas that came out that made just people laugh uncontrollably without they couldn't help it. There was episodes that had to do with that. So I'm like, I think they kind of tapped into that a little bit when it came to those Joker episodes in the animated series where you're laughing uncontrollably and you just can't help it. And that's what really, like I said, you feel bad. Like he's struggling when they're developing all that. And it's just, and of course, Phoenix it looks like it actually physically hurt him to do it.
Yeah. Well, and that was another thing for all the talk about, I didn't feel the script glorified Joker at all, and that was part of the big controversy.
Right,
and
after fucking sucked.
Exactly. Well, and after seeing the movie, I feel like that actually is one of the things that changed. The script was like 99% what's in the movie, but in the script, it was you were less. There was like less to root for. He was just more pitiful and sad, and then when he was evil, he was like outright evil. But there is a sense of empowerment in the movie,
of course,
and so I can see that being something that people find controversy in. But it was very much played like the same way as like with Travis Bickle in Taxi Driver. It was that kind of like empowerment, and so.
Like you're rooting for him, but like certain things he does, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, or it's like a Walter White thing.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. It'd be more like that because I'll be honest. I kind of was rooting for Travis Bickle every time I see Taxi Driver.
Of course,
yeah, exactly. But Joker was great, but even without that, it got me to finally get. I'd only seen like half of Taxi Driver, and I'd never seen King of Comedy, and I watched both of those. Taxi Driver a few months ago, and then King of Comedy just a few days ago. And
lots of throwbacks.
And King of Comedy is, it might be my favorite De Niro role. It's phenomenal, and so and they're both phenomenal companions to this movie. Also, they knowing those stories or knowing those movies, there's enough homage and even a couple scenes that are basically lifted from those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where there's some callbacks that I think really enhance this. It's good without them, but I think I highly encourage anybody who hasn't seen Joker yet, who is able to watch both those movies beforehand. It's well worth it, or watch them after. Just watch them, period. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Taxi Driver is a classic. And by the way, like since you haven't seen it until recently, you know that Steven, you know that scene, the classic scene that everyone knows from Taxi Driver, the "You talking to me?
Yeah.
You talking to me?"
Yeah.
You know that scene, that moment. That was 100% improvised by Robert De Niro. He really just thought upon it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I've read that. And actually, I saw that one years. That was part of it, the movie that I saw like years ago. And then for whatever reason, I can't remember. I never finished it. I think it was on Netflix. Then it went off Netflix, and then or something. I don't know, but I think it's on Netflix again. And then I finally finished it back in like August.
Yeah. Because in the script, Scorsese and Paul Schrader just wrote, he talks to himself in the mirror to practice to rev himself up, and basically Robert De Niro just came up with that whole spiel by himself. Everything he does in front of the mirror was.
And you gotta love that, because that's when like these writers, these filmmakers, writers, whatever, have faith in their actors. I mean, another example of that was. It's totally a different genre completely, but Liar, Liar. When Jim Carrey beats the shit out of himself in the bathroom, there was literally, I remember hearing from what's his name, whoever, I forgot who directed that movie, whoever did Ace Ventura also. He said that all he wrote was Jim Carrey beats himself up. They just let Jim Carrey fucking do Jim Carrey,
Yeah.
And it makes you want, I want to know after, Joker comes out and everything, and they do more interviews, like how much Phoenix did. I mean, there's just little. A
lot of the dancing and stuff like that is not really in the script. Like there is an element, but it doesn't really describe it very much.
But I mean, just the way that he'll arc his back and make like a hump and just.
I don't know what he did with his shoulder blades. Like, dude, he surgically augmented or something?
He was trying to be like a creature sometimes.
He was like creepier than Bale in The Machinist sometimes.
Yes.
It was,
and then
because Bale lost way more weight, but he did things.
He would just push out his fucking rib cage, and it was like, Jesus Christ, dude. I mean, it was very much that's what I kept thinking. It was like Bale and The Machinist. I mean, those two are they just go so fucking all out, and it's like,
oh man, and he has that crackhead indestructibility too.
Yeah,
where he's just by the end of this movie, I wish they'd shown how bruised up he was, just because he's just constantly getting.
Beat up kind of thing. Like it gets a little rough, but he keeps on going. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Well, I think that kind of adds to it also, just because there's I don't know, that's not as unrealistic as maybe it even seems, because there's a lot of people that just he's mentally ill, and so he doesn't register the pain in the same way, or whatever. So
Yeah, it's interesting.
So dare I ask, like looking at all the live action Jokers, whether from Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Jared Leto, Cameron Moynihan from Gotham, and Joaquin Phoenix, how dare I ask how you guys would rank them?
I don't think half of them really can be. Like I was saying before, like Phoenix, it's not even like it's the same character, but it's in a different
universe.
It's so yeah, exactly. Well, in the same way that like, how do you rank Cesar Romero against like any of them really? But like, how do you rank him against like Ledger, for example? Like that's not fair. One's a TV show and like half-assed.
They all got their like strong sides. It's very difficult to like
Well, and also like Phoenix has like the most backstory to work with.
Yeah.
And so he's got a leg up on that, and he's got way more screen time than all of them. So it's there's I don't think there's really value in ranking any. If I were to see like maybe if I were to say which one do I want to see face off against Batman the most, I'd probably be most interested in. I'm not really interested in seeing this one fight Batman.
Yeah,
he's a villain and he's a fascinating character, but he doesn't really strike me as a Batman supervillain as much.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're thinking about that, it's like I want to see Leto do that more.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see him breathe more because he plays that villain, that more villain type.
Well, and that mob boss of like how organized or insane is he?
Yeah. I mean, even with Ledger, it's like, did I need to see him again take on Batman again? No, probably not.
Because Ledger was too disorganized. Like he was great, but not too disorganized, like in a bad way. But like, I can't see him running a crime organization.
No, he just like, fuck everybody. Fuck everybody.
Yeah.
But like Leto was like, he was like a crime boss, and so was Nicholson.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, like Ledger was iconic and great, and he set a very high standard. But I agree. Like Nolan pretty much said everything he wanted to say and needed to say about that Joker in The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
and pretty much Ledger gave his all. And of course, it was his last and greatest role. He won the Oscar for it, and he deserved it. I'm hoping even before
wasn't his last role. You got to see Dr. Parnassus in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Where 3 other actors played that same role. That was a fucking weird movie, man. They had They had Johnny Depp, Colin Farrell, and Jude Law or something like that.
I think Jude Law. That's another one I've never finished.
You know what I'm talking about, Eric? Look it up. Yeah, Leto's last movie. What's it called again? Like
The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah, and it's basically like instead of just when he died during the middle of that, they're like, okay, let's just bring in other people to finish it off. And it was interesting. It was very interesting. I remember watching that, and it was a while ago, but just to see them kind of do it like that, it actually, it worked for the kind of movie it was.
My understanding is that movie kind of gives a reason to be able to do that too.
Yeah, exactly. It leans into that. So they were able to do all that. Very interesting movie. I should revisit that. I only watched it once, like a long time ago. It was right after he passed away too.
Yeah, Depp, Law, Farrell. Yeah. And Ledger, they all shared the role.
Yeah, it's funny. That kind of reminds me of the old Casino Royale, the one that came out in the '60s with Woody Allen and all those folks. Like, supposedly, it was supposed to be a played straight version of Casino Royale, like straight from the book. But what happened was, for some reason, the actor that was cast to play James Bond. At some point, he just got fed up and walked off the set. And that's the Bond that plays him in the segment that's like straight from the book.
Yeah.
And they pretty much, they said, okay, now what do we do? So what they did was exactly that. They brought in these other actors to basically, and they set up this conceit that this older actor was the real James Bond, but now he's the head of MI6. So apparently there's a hit against him. So he's sending out these different agents, all with the fake name James Bond, which is insane. Like Woody Allen is one of them, and he turns out to be the bad guy in the end for some reason. It's bizarre, but it's like the things you do because the show must go on.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, especially when you can actually play it like that and make it work. And Amanda's even saying that I guess when they played all the same part, like all those actors donated their salary to Ledger's daughter. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. I think I remember hearing something about that too. Yeah, that's pretty cool. God, how old? I forgot that Ledger had a daughter. She must be in her teens by now, right?
At least.
Yeah. God, it's gonna be one of those, like, I remember when for like the longest time nobody knew about Kurt Cobain's daughter. They forgot about that. And all of a sudden you saw her, like, holy shit, she looks just like him. Well, I forgot what her actual name is, but yeah, I'm like, damn, like she looks just like Kurt Cobain. Thankfully, she don't look like Courtney Love, But that's pretty cool. But moving on, guys, let's talk about the other controversial subject that came out today. Martin Scorsese, Marty. Fucking A.
I think
you know what? Well, hold on. I mean, I saw your tweet, and I did my video, and I'm like, I mean, partially he's doing this to like create some buzz for his movie, a little bit. You think?
I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's one of those things where it's not like he issued a press release to be like Marvel sucks. Like he was asked about it in another interview.
No, it was a journalist trying to be like, okay, let's see what Marty has to say about this, that, and this, knowing probably full well because he's already mentioned in the past that he wasn't he wasn't big on these franchise comic book movies. So
and like the reaction is just so weird to me because why does any movie have to be like all he's doing is drawing a categorization between the kind of movie he likes to make and watch and what the Avengers are. And it's not it's not like a diss against the Avengers. There's nothing wrong. With there's nothing wrong with being a popcorn flick instead of a film or cinema. Like
cinema, yeah.
I love
the word cinema.
I mean, I love even Speed Racer. I love The Mummy. Armageddon is like my jam. Like, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, Armageddon is cinema. How dare you?
Yeah.
And I put all the Avengers movies for the most part in that category, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, even like the word cinema conjures up the idea of film as great high art. Yeah. So you can understand where he's come from there. Although I will say, like, I think it's been a given that Marty's Team DC, considering how he pretty much helped get the ball rolling on Joker, like he produced it, or at least for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he ended up not being on it as producer, but his producing partner, I think, was on it through the entirety.
Yeah, because everybody was like freaking out, like, "Oh my God, Martin Scorsese is going to be producing."
Well, then he ended up doing the Irishman, and so his name was on it. But,
people said he was directing, but then Todd Phillips said, "No, this was my idea from the beginning. It was going to be me from the beginning."
He got erased.
And I think the assumption from the start was partially that Phillips, it was partially inspired by Scorsese's movies, but also that Phillips just kind of got him to sign off on it as a way of kind of generated that initial buzz of, oh, Martin Scorsese's on this movie. And I wouldn't be shocked if they had if Martin was like, oh, I can't do this. And he was like, can you just have your name on it for like 2 months? Just we get it like greenlit.
Oh, yeah. It definitely created some buzz for it.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's very much a Scorsese movie too. So it's not like it was like a bait and switch.
That was probably part of it too. I'm sure Phillips was like, hey man, I'm going to pay some homages to your fucking movies just to let you know. So, and then he probably was like, yeah, man, do it, man. This is what, and given the fact that if Scorsese's like, these damn superhero movies are all popcorn roller coaster theme parks, I'd like to see something different, and I'm curious to see if we're going to probably find out in the next week or so what's his review of Joker. I'm sure it's going to be great. 100%. Yeah. But hopefully
remember when
more than that.
Yeah. You remember when the narrative was that Scorsese was going to direct Joker, but he had Leonardo DiCaprio in mind or something, and then that like that was the nonsense excuse that because Leo wasn't available, Scorsese wasn't going to direct her. Maybe it was the other way around.
No, I didn't hear.
I know. It's like I was just reading that narrative, and then it just vanished right away. And then Todd was like, "No, it was going to be me from the beginning, guys."
Yeah.
Scorsese was a producer, not the director.
Well, there's a lot about this movie and the way they handled the PR for it that was, I think, more intentional than a lot of people think as well. It's like they leaned into some of the controversy. I mean, very much so. Like that clip they released of him on Kimmel.
Yeah, I mean, like,
example of that.
I just couldn't believe it when people were freaking out about it on my timeline. I'm like, this doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I was like, no, there's no way that Kimmel would do that. And I'm like, this is the same guy who fucking tried to convince everybody for like a year and a half that he was trying to be a hip hop artist.
Right. Well, they were very savvy in that way, and so I think that very much lines up with the whole. Oh, we'll say that Scorsese and DiCaprio are attached at the start just to get the ball rolling, and then once it was like greenlit and the script was on the way and everything, then they were like, okay, well that's not happening, but we've got a better thing in mind, because who's gonna greenlight a Todd Phillips
Joker movie,
Joker Scorsese throwback like
the Hangover guy?
That guy? Wait, I thought he does comedies. And I love the fact that it's him too. I love the fact that he. I always love it when a comedy director, or it's just directors just do something differently. I mean, I even said it in my review. I was like, you wouldn't think if you didn't direct this movie, you would like if somebody told you, oh yeah, it's the guy who did the Hangover trilogy and Old School and Starsky and Hutch. You'd be like, what the fuck, really? But then even if you look back at those, I'm like, they're good. They're nicely shot movies.
Exactly. Well, and I think that's one of those areas where people, I think, are really quick to kind of categorize and dismiss stuff. And I'm not going to say like those were cinema, but I think that there's an element of craft to them that like the Hangover looks different than like Step Brothers, right? It does. And but they fall kind of in that same category of like trash comedy. But like I think the Hangover. And then, it's got whatever other issues people want to say about being dated comedy or whatever. I think it looked great. It was very technically well made. And if you look at, I was researching Phillips's history also, and he kind of got his start through like some kind of crazy documentary projects also. So I think, Greg Silverman had phenomenal things to say about him. Back before he left Warner Brothers. I think he said he's like the best comedic director in Hollywood at the time.
I could see it. I mean, it's so difficult to make a comedy. You have to make sure that everything's timed right. And I mean, even with the actors, comedy actors will say it's like, okay, yeah, I'm doing my thing, but you don't know what the final product's going to be like, how it's going to be edited, what music is going to be there, how it's shot. And just to like try to craft that, it's really difficult. But when you look at Phillips, Old School is a classic. Hangover is a classic. But you can go back to Starsky
War Dogs.
War Dogs. That was a little more serious. It wasn't as like as much of a comedy as the other ones. The other ones are more goofball. But and say what you want about the sequels to Hangover, but they still have their moments. But that original Hangover movie was like that thing. That movie just took the world by storm. I remember being in that theater and everybody was just like almost falling out of their seats laughing about
and that's what's so funny about the reaction to his comments on comedy, as if like he's some out of touch like hack comic. He's probably the closest. I shouldn't say this because there's been some since then, but like that's one of the last, like the closest we've come in recent history to like a proper comedy blockbuster.
Yes,
with the Hangover.
Was.
He's sure better comedian than Taika Waititi or something. I don't know.
Taika Waititi, yeah.
I don't know. I don't like the Taika hate. Like I think that like what we do in the shadows is absolutely hilarious, but it's a different kind of. Yeah. It's a very different kind of thing, and like the filmmaking quality. Like once again, like that's not it's not shot or made as well. It's just cleverly written.
And I will say Taika Taika's extended creator cameo as Korg, the rock guy in Ragnarok, was arguably the best thing about Ragnarok. Maybe I would say the only quality thing. Like, yes, I'm a pile of rocks. Don't let that don't terrify you unless you're a pair of scissors. Just a rock paper scissors joke for you. Blah blah blah. Yeah. And like, there's just something interesting, like deadpan about it. But yeah. Oh, by the way, Edgy Veggie wants to know what our thoughts are on Will Beal's Justice League script.
I have no idea what that is. Will Beal, who's that?
Neither do I.
I've never read it.
Have you heard about it, Steven?
Is that the one that Miller was going to use?
Is that what it is? It's for Mortal, Justice League Mortal.
I think so.
Okay,
I don't know enough about it. I'm more familiar with the concept art and stuff on that one.
Yeah. No,
wasn't Justice League Mortal the one that was just supposed to start with, like the team?
Oh, look at that! I didn't realize I could do this. There it is. I could actually flash it in front of the screen and cover Steven's face. That's awesome.
Oh yeah!
Great. Now you just created a screenshot to go around nowadays with it up on our faces.
Oh god! Uh-oh. Yeah. It's been quiet for like a little over a month. I just screwed it up. No, but that's kind of cool. I didn't realize you could do that. See, I mean, I could say, hey, look, Joker's back. I did not realize that was cool. That's a cool little feature here. I like it. Interesting.
Anyway,
so
the chat explained he wrote it 2013, but it was before Man of Steel, but after Mortal.
Is it? So I assume if you're asking about that, does that mean it's floating around?
I guess so.
Yeah,
I haven't read it. So
I've seen things said about it, but I have also never read it. So
that should be interesting. But when it comes to so Joker is looking like it's going to be a success. Do you think after this we're going to start hearing about more DC Black titles?
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I'm concerned about this administration trying to copy a success from the last administration. Because this is kind of a holdover in that sense, and so the notion of Emmerich being like, "Ooh, yes, I'm going to recreate I'm going to capture that lightning in a bottle," sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, which is.
But if they're willing to bring in, this kind of talent and just let them do it, then I'm game to let them try that. I like making weird movies. Yeah,
bring in like do like a Lex Luthor trying to do trying to do something. I don't know. I saw somebody do like Lex Luthor, in the vein of Social Network kind of thing. But then again, it might be too close to
the danger. Yeah, the danger is that you're going to start being like, ooh, let's make the Social Network with Lex Luthor, or someone's going to be like, let's make I don't know,
Jesse Eisenberg, of course.
Exactly. That's why it's a little too close to the vest right there.
Yeah.
But you could do something interesting with Lex Luthor in the vein of like what they're doing, what Todd Phillips did with the Joker, or you could take another villain, or you could take another hero.
I saw someone say that like a Two-Face movie this would be awesome, and I think that would be again without Batman. Do a Harvey Dent becoming a mobster.
I mean, that's what the challenge was with this movie. It was like you're watching it and you're going, "There's no Batman with this. There's just no Batman," and.
But Batman would not have improved this movie in my mind.
Not at all. I mean, and without, exactly. But I don't know which. If they were to take another, would they just do another Batman villain, or would they take another villain from one of the other properties and try to do something?
Or does it even have to be a villain, and can it just be a character study? I think the temptation is going to be to do all Gotham stuff, but they could even do like a. Something that's like a Ridley Scott throwback, like a Alien with I don't know who would you do an Alien movie with, but like a Green Lantern or something.
I don't know. Honestly, nothing stopped them from just doing an Elseworld story.
Yeah,
like just do maybe a different cast, or maybe like I've been saying, just take the DCU cast, but put them in a clearly different context, like Speeding Bullets or Red Sun.
We could do
Gotham by Gaslight.
This one right here. I'd love to see them do Bane as a failed pro wrestler.
That would be great.
Something like that. So, I mean, people would probably compare it to the movie The Wrestler.
Yeah.
But I kind of like that idea. Something like that, where you really break down... and then you could have something where, like that, like a scarecrow kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, what if we get out of? What if we make like Gotham, like Batman's Rogues Gallery off limits? Like who can we?
Yeah, no, it's difficult because he's got the best rogues gallery. I mean, there's something to do with that, you know.
Well, like I said, just take from the classic Elseworlds run and just like see if you can adapt that.
Or just what's some classic cinema that you think would be adaptable to a like do what he did here with take Scorsese. So like who's got a filmography that you would like to see kind of given a DC skin.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's difficult. It's difficult. I mean, and it's funny too, because Todd Phillips even said that, you know, when he pitched the idea, he says, yeah, let's start with the Joker. And then, I guess he said 3 other ideas. And I want to know, what were the other ideas that he said? Was it like other Batman villains? Was it Lex Luthor? Because it seems like Lex Luthor would be the obvious next choice if they were going to do something, because, you know, it is Superman's arch nemesis and he's very human. And, you know, the difficult part about doing super villains is the fact that they're super. You know, the Joker, even though he's a super villain, he's still very much human.
But remember, it doesn't have to be this exact same tone, though. It can be just a low budget, like I was saying. Like imagine something like the original Alien or Aliens or whatever. But it's like those were
Brainiac and
in the case
or like Terminator. Like let's do like a James Cameron throwback.
Ooh, Metallo.
And in the case of Luthor, just do like because in most of the incarnations of the Superman mythos, like Luthor is pretty much in power by the time Superman shows up. So just show his rise to power. In this case, like a lot of people have said Wolf of Wall Street. Just do a Wolf of Wall Street kind of film with Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah,
and his rise
that'd be interesting. Yeah. But
just don't show him fall.
Yeah, and then you got to wonder too, like what Matt Reeves is going to be doing with his Batman. I mean, it's, you know, it's so up in the air. I mean, I'm sure he's going to do something great. I mean, what's funny is though, did you see what he tweeted out like a little bit ago when people were wondering like, what are you listening to when you're, you know, writing Batman? And it was a fucking song. It was a song from Taxi Driver. He tweeted that out. I remember I retweeted that. And I'm like, shit. So he could be taking elements out of that too. That noir type, I guess. I mean, I guess he really wants to capture that noir tone, which I'm all for.
Here's who the next one should be. The question.
Oh, yeah. I think.
Oh, yes.
You guys were even talking about it, Eric, before I even started.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, personally, I would want the question to be in the DCU, especially since they've introduced Huntress, and both in the comics and in Justice League Unlimited, Huntress and the Question have a thing. So it'd be nice to see the Question interacting with Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Huntress. But regardless, my number one absolute pick for Vic Sage, the Question, is Ryan Gosling.
I agree with you.
Yeah, especially because Justice League Unlimited, the way they cast him, like he's a tough guy, but he's very soft-spoken, and the perfect actor to play that is Ryan Gosling. Tough guy, soft-spoken.
Oh, here, let me keep going. Jonah Hex.
Jonah Hex.
Oh, yeah. Jonah Hex, Michael Madsen. Cast Michael Madsen as Jonah Hex.
Tarantino. Bring in Tarantino.
No, for real. Have Tarantino do a Jonah Hex.
Hey, that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. I mean, that would be in the same vein. That would be in the same vein almost. Bring in Tarantino.
Yeah, exactly.
Jonah Hex, Elseworlds, or DC Black. Yeah. Not bad.
And you know, Quentin.
Or bringing someone to do a Tarantino. You know, it doesn't have to be him. It could be someone riffing on Tarantino with these. Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez. Who knows? Robert Rodriguez. Who knows? Like Quentin himself said that. But like Quentin himself has said that he wants to do 3 Westerns in some way. He's already done 2, but he wants to do a 3rd Western in some way so that he can consider himself a director of Westerns. Because to him, it says you need to direct 3 of a genre in order to be considered a director of that genre. And he said it might be a movie or it might be an HBO or Netflix miniseries. Like he's talked about this Elmore Leonard Western, 30 Lashes Less One. And he said like he might do it as his last movie, or he might do it as an HBO or Netflix miniseries. Because he said after his 10 and done, he's going to go on. He might go on to TV like HBO or Netflix to do miniseries. But yeah, like a Jonah Hex would be right up his alley.
That would be interesting. I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's just one of those things where you just got to really think like, what would be different? What would be unique? I mean, like you said, Steven, is like trying to capture lightning in a bottle twice.
Yeah. Well, and what can you strip the comic book out of? Yeah. Well, what can you strip the comic book out of to this extent without like you can't do that with everything. You can't take like a
And what worked for the Joker is like there wasn't ever a fucking source material on his origin. Killing Joke was the closest thing that we got.
Right.
And there was elements of Killing Joke in here with the whole stand-up comedy thing, but when you read the Killing Joke and you watch the Joker, there's vast differences, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the challenge.
Yeah. Taylor Pesher in the chat actually said that, the Netflix might work better as a true detective style series. And yeah, DC Universe or now HBO Max, yeah, that would be great. Like have shows that are actually tied in, I would say tied into the DCU, like actually have shows that do that.
Yeah.
Like what Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage should have been, but then Ike Perlmutter and Kevin Feige had their falling out, so then they separated them for good, which sucked, but whatever.
What comes to mind is that when a while ago, it was like what, 10 years ago, when that Mortal Kombat web series came out.
Oh, yeah.
That first little trailer, when that came out, I mean, that was like a unique look at the Mortal Kombat universe. It was very like gritty, dark, noir-ish almost. And then when they finally did the series, they kind of fucking went back to like, hey, let's have a bunch of people fighting and this, that, and this. Like I was kind of, I don't know if did you guys watch that web series with Mortal Kombat that came out like 12 years ago?
Yeah, I don't remember if I watched all of them or not, but it was hard. I don't think I had a super continuous storyline.
It didn't work. It ended up not working well because the first trailer was done so well. And it was so just like this dark, like almost like it had a Saw vibe to it. I remember watching that trailer and I'm like, this reminds me of Saw, the way that they showed Baraka. And Jax was like this guy investigating like murders and shit like that. They really just did a unique spin to it. And then when they finally did a web series, it just went back to like, people fighting. Yeah, I think it was called this. Yeah. It was called Mortal Kombat Conquest or something like that. But it was. I mean, the series wasn't terrible. I don't remember. I don't think I finished it because I was just kind of disappointed. It didn't capture what they captured in that trailer that just took off. But but it's something like that to take these properties and just. I mean, I remember reading like an idea of Bruce Wayne being in Arkham Asylum. He's lost his mind, and everybody he's dealing with is like, oh my God, my doctor, his name is Joe, and his last name is Kerr, and fucking, stuff like that. Like the fact that he fights villains, it's all in his head, and he's really like a crazy person in Arkham. Like I always thought that would be a cool idea for like a web series.
That would be great.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne is like, he thinks he's like this Cape Crusader, but he's really just a Looney Tune in Arkham, and everybody who's a villain is actually like a doctor or a nurse or somebody that he associates with. Like Harvey Dent is just some dude that has a double personality that he occasionally talks to in the next cell or something like that. I always thought that would be a really cool idea.
Here's another good one. Do GCPD / Gotham Central, like those. Which one? I think Rucka wrote GCPD, and do it like 7. So it's all supervillains, and like I don't know, Batman's not around for whatever reason, and you've got like Bullock and Gordon, like a Jim Gordon DC Black movie,
where he's actually like a big badass, like the way we've seen him, where he's like, that would work too. I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's going to be interesting after this weekend to see what happens because that Warner Brothers is just waiting. They want to see how people respond to this movie, what the opening box office is, and then they're going to start leaning into this because that's the way studios do their thing, And I don't know, it's just going to be interesting, especially with Birds of Prey coming out. I don't know what you guys thought of that trailer. We could talk about that a little bit before we wrap up here too.
I personally liked it. Oh, someone in the chat had this great suggestion: a General Zod war film, like a space war film.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things you can do. Yeah, I could see that a little bit, But I mean, that'd be difficult to do because it would have to be grander, if you're talking.
You have to figure out budget.
Yeah, when we're talking about trying to like keep the budgets low, like they did
keep
with
it
Toker, that's the hard part about all this stuff. But yeah, let's talk about that Birds of Prey trailer. What was your thoughts about that?
That was great.
I'm gonna piss some people off. I liked it. I really did. I mean, I don't. I feel like the reason people say they don't like it is because they've gotten it into their heads that it's another example of Marvel. So when it came out,
I don't know how people are actually saying they don't like it. I think that's one of those Twitter echo chamber things.
It really is.
I think most people are really on board for
Marvel at all, to be honest.
I mean, like
Marvel.
I mean, like Kathy Yen and Margot Robbie. Yeah, Kathy Yen and Margot Robbie. Yeah. Because like they both promised it was going to be Tarantino-esque, and the trailer comes out, it's like, yeah, I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like and Margot going full New York kind of accent,
she's
like in the trailer with her narration.
I almost it's falling in the vein of like the fucking series, the little cartoon series that's coming out.
Yeah.
You watch the trailer to that Harley Quinn series that's coming out next month on DC Universe, and the way that she's acting in this movie, I mean, it's almost. I mean, the last little scene of the trailer is like Cassie Cain. She takes a stick of dynamite and throws it out the window, and it blows up. I had a script. Yeah. I paused it at the right moment, and it's just like Harley's like smiling, looking back at the explosion, while Cassie's like scared for her life almost. And I'm like, for some reason, it made me like the trailer more, because I was like, fine, but. The fact that they're leaning into that aspect of a more cartoony, I guess.
Well, and I like her in a weird way. I liked her in Suicide Squad, but in a weird way, this is like more believable.
Yeah,
I feel like for her to be this way, Suicide Squad felt like it played the.
Suicide Squad was trying to be too serious for her. She was like when it comes to Harley Quinn, when you look at all the books when she just makes an appearance, it's almost like, okay, we're not taking this issue seriously.
Well, she's easy to take seriously when she's more of a Deadpool type.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is maybe, I don't know if that's counterintuitive or not, but I think that she makes a lot more sense in this world than she did in
Suicide Squad.
In Suicide Squad, and that's I like Suicide Squad for the most part, particularly her. I think there's an improvement on that.
I mean, I just got such a kick out of those behind-the-scenes shot photos of her on roller skates, grabbing hold of the back of Huntress's bike, and like Greg is like, "All right, let's do it," and then Huntress just looking at her is like, "Really?" That was just. I'm gonna love that scene. That scene's just gonna be.
Well,
awesome.
I mean, and that's another thing too. It's like, I mean, I know, I get like the diehard comic book people that are like, this is not, Harley Quinn was not part of the Birds of Prey. I'm like, well, she's technically still not. I mean, that's why it's called Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn, Emancipation of Harley Quinn, blah blah blah. It's gonna be interesting to see where they take it. But you could see like every character is like, why the fuck are you like running things? I mean, even Black Canary is like, relax, Harley.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing that like maybe there's an argument over like they should have titled it differently. Like I think that's worth engaging on, but people seem to forget that like this was a Margot Robbie Harley Quinn project from day one. Like she picked the script, she picked Yan. Like it was always going to be it's not like they had a Birds of Prey movie in the works and Margot Robbie came in and turned it into it.
Apparently, right? I mean, I'm sure there was a script, and then of course you had David Ayer's like Gotham City Sirens script, that he was working on, and it was kind of like a mashing together, I guess you could say. I mean,
maybe, but I mean for a long time there were two separate projects too. Though. Like there was a time when it wasn't the same.
I mean, to me, it seems like they had the Harley. They were like, we got to do a Harley Quinn movie because out of Suicide Squad, she was the popular one, of course.
Well, and they gave her they gave her like 6 projects to choose from, and this is what she chose.
But I think I mean, as much as like I mean, especially when Ayer was like, I mean, he literally tweeted out a picture of Black Mask. So his script did have that. So there's going to be elements of that there. Of course, I think they probably changed it big time. Who knows? Well,
and the other thing to keep in mind also, especially with the way Warner Brothers develops this, even though it's a shared universe, is that there's way less of a like centralized writing room like there is with Marvel. Yeah. And so, like for example, you saw the reason that O'Connor. Gavin O'Connor, left Suicide Squad was because it turned out that the script was too similar to to Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
So he decided to walk on that instead of trying to instead of having to rewrite it, which is weird because apparently James Gunn's script ended up keeping a lot of what O'Connor was doing. So I don't know exactly what ended up happening there. But basically O'Connor was like, I don't want to make a movie that's too similar, and I don't want to rewrite this, like, whatever. But there wasn't like some sort of behind, like, that director exit was not the same as all the other ones. That was just him being like, okay, well, you're already making my movie, so I'm gonna go do something else that's unique.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be shocked for Ayer to be including Black Mask and Birds of Prey, or maybe they were going to share him at one point. Like, I don't know. I don't want to go assuming that everything is being stolen and combined without more info. But
let me ask you guys this. Like, I'm sure you've seen on Twitter, like, the report, like the report about the more recent screenings of Birds of Prey, along the lines of they used unused footage of Jared Leto to work Joker into the movie or something. Do you buy into that?
I do.
Do you buy into it?
I mean, a little bit. I think the important thing to consider about that is that it's I think archive footage is what they said. Which that's unused footage.
They have a shit ton of it.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's like scenes from Suicide Squad in there. We know that they shot a scene with a Joker double. I'm assuming it's either for dialogue or like shots of his face. I doubt we're going to see like a fully like reinserted scene here. If they're only using archive footage, it's because they needed like a glimpse or
it's not gonna be anything like a whole scene.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good, because like that was my main concern when I heard about that. I was like, does this hurt the chances of us eventually getting an Ayer cut? Because what if they're using footage from David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad? But no, if it's just archive footage that he probably already cut beforehand, there's like
what's the other thing to remember about that is that there's so much. Even Ayer's cut would have left like hours of Leto on the floor.
Oh, of course.
Just because they shot so much, like from what he was saying, they
had a whole.
There's like hours of him like just improvising Joker stuff. So
and on that note,
Leto go fucking ape shit.
Yeah. And on that note, there's that moment in the trailer, and I've been talking with people on Twitter about this too, and on YouTube too, but that moment in the trailer where you hear that voiceover of a guy saying, "You need me," I can't shake the feeling that that's Jared Leto. I can't shake the feeling that's Joker. I mean, you think that you need me? Do you think that's Joker? Or people are saying no, it's Black Mask. Or people are saying,
I think it's Black Mask. Because
people say it's Black Mask. Some people saying it's Victor Zsasz.
Maybe
like maybe him.
I assumed it was. But you got to remember, if it was Leto, I don't think there'd be a question of whether or not it was Leto.
Yeah.
I think.
When I heard, like the first time I heard it in the trailer, I was thinking that sounds more like Leto than it sounds like Ewan McGregor. I don't know. Maybe it's just.
I'll have to go back and listen because I think I know what you guys are talking about, but
no, it was Ray Porter.
This guy.
No lanterns.
Oh man, no lanterns. Oh, Steven.
Release
All right, I think that's a good way to end the fucking stream tonight. All right, guys.
Cool.
All right.
Appreciate you guys coming on, as always, and I appreciate you guys in the comment section. I love the fact that that I could do this. Whoa! Someone said Slim. I think. Oh,
I didn't get.
Eric, he thinks it's Ewan McGregor talking to Canary.
Yeah.
You know what I will say? I think my favorite shot was actually when Canary's singing, and then it focuses on the glass and it shakes. And I'm like, that was a really good shot.
Oh, that was so good.
That was an actual. That was probably one of my favorite shots of the whole trailer. I'm like, that was pretty good. Just kind of like emphasize that. Oh yeah, this girl has pipes, guys. But anyways, guys, thank you, Steven. Thank you, Eric, for joining in on the vodka stream tonight. And good night, guys. Thanks for joining in. And till next week. Well, we'll see what happens next week. I'm supposed to be going to
next time.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah. Same bad time, same bad channel.
There you go. That's what I should say at every thing.
See ya.
All right. Thanks, guys.